All eyes on Jungkook. Was that just a New Year smile, or the first signal of a new BTS era? The Golden Magne's expression sparks global analysis as 2026 begins. Was it really just another New Year greeting, or did the world witness something far bigger, hiding in plain sight? When BTS appeared in a short, warm New Year 2026 video that lasted less than half a minute, millions of eyes across the globe were suddenly drawn to one member in particular. Not by design, not by camera tricks, not by loud gestures, but by something far more unsettling and magnetic at the same time. Jungkook's expressions, his energy, his presence, and the question that now refuses to disappear: why did Jungkook look so different? As the clock ticked toward 2026, BTS once again did what only they can do: turn a simple moment into a global conversation. The video, shared widely after being captured from a Weverse live broadcast and reposted by fan accounts on Platform X, showed RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook seated together in a cozy room adorned with a Christmas tree. They raised their hands, shouted joyfully, and smiled as if counting down the final seconds of the year. On paper, it was a familiar BTS tradition. In reality, something about this clip felt impossible to ignore, because while all 7 members radiated warmth, unity, and excitement, the camera never truly seemed to leave Jungkook, at least not in the minds of viewers. His expressions were the most alive, his reactions the most spontaneous, his energy the most overflowing. And within hours, fans and media alike were asking the same provocative question: when did Jungkook become the emotional center of this moment? The video, posted on December 31st, 2025 at 15:03 Western Indonesian time with a simple caption, "Happy New Year 2026 from BTS," quickly amassed hundreds of thousands of views, likes, reposts, and comments. Armies from every corner of the world flooded the replies with emotional messages, hopes for the coming year, and declarations that this will be the best year for us. Yet beneath the celebratory surface, a deeper layer of analysis was already unfolding, one focused almost entirely on the Golden Magne. Fans began replaying the clip again and again, slowing it down, comparing angles, and placing Jungkook's expressions side by side with footage from previous New Year broadcasts. The conclusion that emerged was strikingly consistent. Jungkook didn't just look happy. He looked free. He looked ready. And above all, he looked like someone standing at the edge of a new chapter. Why did his smile linger just a second longer than before? Why did his eyes sparkle with an intensity fans struggled to remember from recent years? Why did his body language feel looser, more confident, more unrestrained, as if a weight had quietly been lifted? These questions did not come from nowhere. The year 2025 had been a complex one for BTS, marked by military service obligations, individual projects, and a temporary pause in full group activities. While each member shone in their own way, the group as a whole existed in a state of anticipation, both for themselves and for ARMY. Jin's recent album, Happy, had already signaled momentum, and solo endeavors across the group kept BTS present in the global conversation. Still, fans were waiting for something intangible, a feeling, a sign, a moment that said, "We are coming back." For many, Jungkook's expression in that New Year video became exactly that. Media outlets focused on fan culture began highlighting how often the camera naturally gravitated toward Jungkook, even in a clip meant to showcase all 7 members equally. His open-mouthed laughter, the way he leaned forward as if pulling energy into the room, the subtle nods and glances exchanged with other members, all of it created the impression that Jungkook was not just participating in the moment, but driving it. Was this accidental, or was it instinctive? And more importantly, was it intentional? Comparisons soon surfaced between this clip and New Year broadcasts from previous years. In earlier videos, Jungkook had often been playful, energetic, and bright, but this time, fans noted a difference that was difficult to articulate and impossible to dismiss. He appeared more grounded, yet more electric, more relaxed, yet more powerful. It was as if the Golden Magne had stepped fully into himself. This perception spread rapidly across social media. Posts analyzing Jungkook's micro-expressions gained traction, with fans suggesting that his demeanor reflected a sense of relief after years of pressure, expectations, and constant self-discipline. Others speculated that Jungkook's visible joy hinted at upcoming plans, music, performances, or even a full BTS comeback that the group had yet to officially confirm. Could a single expression really carry that much meaning? History suggests that when it comes to BTS, absolutely, BTS has long been known for embedding messages in the smallest details, from lyrics and choreography to glances and timing. Fans have been trained, over years of shared experiences, to read between the lines. So when Jungkook looks different, ARMY notices. When Jungkook feels different, the world feels it too. What made this moment even more compelling was how naturally Jungkook drew attention without overshadowing his members. RM's calm leadership, Jin's warmth, Suga's quiet presence, J-Hope's brightness, Jimin's emotional sensitivity, and V's unique charm were all there. Yet Jungkook's energy acted like a current running through the room, connecting everyone, amplifying the collective mood. It wasn't dominance. It was gravity. International fan media quickly framed the narrative around Jungkook as the center of atmosphere, a role that does not rely on screen time or lines, but on presence. And presence, in this case, became the most powerful storytelling device of all. The idea that Jungkook is ready for a new era began trending across discussions, with fans arguing that his expressions reflected someone who has resolved inner conflicts and embraced his identity as both an individual artist and a BTS member. After years of growing up under the global spotlight, Jungkook now appears not as the youngest trying to keep up, but as a central force helping define what comes next. This interpretation resonated deeply because it aligned with the broader emotional state of ARMY. After a period of waiting, supporting from afar, and holding on to faith through hiatus and distance, fans are eager for reassurance. Jungkook's visible happiness felt like reassurance without words, and perhaps that is why this short, 28-second clip carried such disproportionate emotional weight. The comments under the original post reveal the depth of that connection. Fans wrote that BTS made their New Year special, that seeing the group together again healed something inside them, that this moment felt like a promise. When one fan declared it's officially BTS year, many others echoed the sentiment, not because of an announcement, but because of a feeling. Jungkook's expressions became the visual embodiment of that feeling. In Indonesia, as in many other countries, fans dissected the clip late into the night, sharing screenshots, GIFs, and emotional reactions. For a global fandom that spans cultures and languages, Jungkook's face became a universal language of hope. No subtitles were needed, no explanation required, yet skepticism also surfaced, adding another layer of intrigue. Some asked whether fans were projecting too much onto a simple celebration. Was it fair to read so deeply into a smile? Or was this precisely what BTS has always invited the world to do? To feel deeply, to connect emotionally, to find meaning in shared moments. The truth may lie somewhere in between. But what cannot be denied is the impact. A single clip shifted the conversation. The spotlight moved decisively and unmistakably. To Jungkook, as 2026 begins, the question is no longer whether Jungkook looked different, but why that difference mattered so much to so many people. Is he signaling a personal transformation? Is he unconsciously reflecting plans already in motion? Or is he simply a young artist finally, allowing himself to breathe after years of carrying the weight of global expectations? Perhaps the most powerful answer is that we don't yet know. And that uncertainty is exactly what keeps the world watching. BTS has always understood the power of timing, of silence, of subtlety. This New Year video offered no spoilers, no announcements, no explicit promises. Yet through Jungkook's expressions alone, it ignited speculation, emotion, and anticipation on a global scale. As ARMY steps into 2026 with renewed hope, one question continues to echo across timelines and time zones alike. Was Jungkook just celebrating the new year? Or was he quietly welcoming us into the next era of BTS? The clock has already turned. The spotlight has shifted. And if this brief moment is any indication, the world may soon find out that the golden magne is not just ready to shine again, but ready to lead us somewhere entirely new. And the more the clip circulated, the more one realization settled in among global audiences. This was not about choreography, vocals, or even screen time. This was about atmosphere. It was about an emotional temperature that seemed to rise every time Jungkook moved, laughed, or reacted in that small, intimate room. In a group known for balance and equality, why did one presence suddenly feel so catalytic? Observers began to note how Jungkook's reactions appeared to anchor the group's collective energy. When he laughed, the mood lifted. When he leaned forward, others followed with their eyes. When he clapped and shouted, the moment felt complete. It was subtle, but for longtime followers of BTS, subtlety has always been the loudest language. This is where the global analysis took a sharper turn. Fan media outlets and cultural commentators started framing Jungkook's New Year expression not as an isolated moment, but as part of a longer emotional arc. The Jungkook of early debut years was eager, driven, sometimes visibly burdened by the responsibility of being the youngest in a group that would soon carry the weight of an entire generation's expectations. Over time, that eagerness matured into discipline, perfectionism, and an almost relentless self-control. But the Jungkook scene welcoming 2026 felt different again. There was no trace of restraint in his eyes, no hesitation in his smile, no sign that he was holding himself back. Instead, viewers saw ease, comfort, a sense of belonging not just within BTS, but within himself. And that distinction matters more than it seems, because when an artist like Jungkook reaches that stage, history suggests something tends to follow. Industry analysts quietly pointed out that many global artists experience their most defining creative breakthroughs after periods of enforced pause or personal recalibration. For BTS, 2025 was exactly that, a year shaped by distance, military duty, and individual reflection. When the group reappears together after such a period, every gesture becomes amplified, every expression scrutinized for clues, and Jungkook, whether intentionally or not, offered the richest material for interpretation. Another layer that deepened the intrigue was how naturally the attention shifted to him without any formal narrative push. There were no captions highlighting Jungkook, no camera zooms engineered to isolate him. The spotlight moved organically, driven by audience instinct rather than editorial decision. That organic shift is precisely what made it feel authentic, and therefore powerful. Fans compared this moment to previous transitional eras in BTS history, recalling how small visual cues preceded major shifts. A glance exchanged during an award show, a lyric dropped casually in a live stream, a tone change in an end-of-year message. Time and again, BTS has shown that big announcements often arrive after the emotional groundwork has already been laid. Could Jungkook's expression be part of that groundwork? Speculation intensified when fans revisited the context of the video itself. This was not a polished studio production. It was not a heavily edited promotional clip. It was a fragment from a live broadcast, raw and unfiltered, capturing BTS as they truly were in that moment. And in raw moments, masks tend to fall away. That authenticity is what made Jungkook's energy feel so revealing. Some fans described it as the energy of someone who knows something good is coming. Others interpreted it as the release of long-held tension. A few even suggested it looked like closure, the closing of one chapter and the quiet excitement of stepping into another. None of these interpretations were confirmed, yet none of them felt unreasonable either. What further fueled the conversation was how Jungkook's expressions contrasted with the emotional tone of the previous year. Throughout 2025, fans had grown accustomed to seeing BTS members in reflective, sometimes restrained states, shaped by responsibility and separation. The New Year clip, by contrast, radiated forward motion, and Jungkook seemed to embody that motion most clearly. Even outside the fandom, casual viewers unfamiliar with BTS's internal dynamics commented on Jungkook's presence. Social media users noted that the guy on the right looks so happy, or that member feels like the main character of the video. These reactions came without the bias of long-term emotional investment, suggesting that Jungkook's impact transcended fan interpretation. That universality is part of what has always defined Jungkook's appeal. As the Golden Magne, he has long been recognized for his all-rounder talent, but moments like this remind the world that charisma is not just about skill, it is about emotional resonance. And emotional resonance,